Everyone, welcome in this new video of how to eat healthy. In this new part of the video today, we're going to go through the different scientists that are talking about nutrition, diet. So this is important to hear different voices talking about diet and nutrition. What are the thoughts about it? They have studied this, they have been working on it. Some are specialized in a specific field of nutrition or a specific um, field of diet. And so they are sharing this knowledge about it on online. Okay, so I have recorded some piece of interviews that they have provided. There are three, I recall three scientists that I thought that were very interesting to listen to, that are trusted and recognized also in their work. And so I'm letting you watch this.
Now, now you might be thinking, okay, this is all interesting, but this is just one point of view. Yeah? Is this fringe science? Okay, is this fringe science? Okay, let's see. So I recalled scientific source before, but I also went on YouTube. I also went on internet to see what professional who came on the scene says in general. And so I recalled few professional. But in fact, some of the most respected scientists and medical voice in the world have been making exactly this argument for years. Let's meet a few of them. So the expert number one, which is the professor Tim Spector. So Tim Spector has spent decades studying how gene, gut bacteria, and environmental interact to shape our health. He is probably the scientist who has done more than anyone to bring the gut microbiome into the public conversation about nutrition. And his message on diet is pretty ambiguous. Spector argued that the idea of calorie counting is fundamentally flawed.
We know, these appetite signals are crucial, and we can see this with the new Ozempic drugs. They're blocking that hunger drive, and as soon as you block that, then you can lose weight. But if you don't block it, it's sort of virtually impossible for most people to just fight that continually, because it just gets ramped up and ramped up and ramped up. So you're just thinking about food all the time, and your body is designed to get back to where it was. And so the idea of relying just on calories as a weight loss tool has been shown to be flawed in numerous controlled trials, because eventually your body wins. And
Let me ask,
if you don't change other aspects of eating, and you're just obsessed with the calories, and that's if you can count the calories anyway, because most of these trials are not real life. They're done in highly controlled scenarios with nurses ringing you up and confirming what you're eating, and it's the best possible scenario. And even in those scenarios, 80% of people have failed at 2 years.
Meaning they put the weight back on.
Yes.
Not because calories don't exist, but because it treats the body like a simple machine, ignoring the enormous complexity of individual metabolic response, gut bacteria, and food quality.
We understand the subtle balance, and the fact that food also has other mechanisms triggering hunger that aren't related just to calories. So the nature of the food, the quality of the food, is something that we're uncovering, which we never in the past talked about. So we've been so obsessed with the calorie. There's all kinds of problems with the calorie. It's not very accurate to measure, and it ignores the structure of food. So the way we've been counting them is wrong. So identical calories, a different response just because the nature of the food, and we were giving people the equivalent of ultra-processed food, which is what the average American diet is, in its highly refined form. It had a very different effect. And you could give identical calories in a different format, different structure, you would get a different result. And so there's another famous study from the NIH where they gave people 2 weeks of whole foods and 2 weeks of ultra-processed foods and identical calories and macronutrients, and the ultra-processed food group overate. So they were overeating by equivalent 300 calories a day. And so if you only had calories as your objective, and you go back to this, there was the law of physics and all this kind of stuff, you miss the point about food being so much more complex, and it's about the structure of the food. And we're not accurately measuring the calories because you get very different responses.
On the diet industry specifically, He's not shy. His recommendation: stop looking for the perfect diet. Start feeding your gut microbiome with diversity, 30 different plant food per week, and stop eating ultra-processed food that strip that diversity away. Here we are. Then we have the expert number 2, which is the Professor Jill Yeo. Professor Jill Yeo's area of expertise is the brain control of body weight. So specifically, how genes influence the choice we make around food, often without us being consciously aware of it. His central argument, one that generally should change how you think about diet, is that calorie is a deeply flawed unit of measurement for human nutrition.
Okay. The chances are you probably would lose weight because we probably burn more than that. But how healthy would you be? I think is probably the question. Whereas if you had a healthier diet, but ate 2,500 calories of a healthier diet, would you be healthier? And that's the more important question I think you ask. Because there's two things you're trying to look at. You're trying to look at the number on the scale, and that probably would work. Or you're trying to look at your health, your blood glucose levels, your blood pressure, your ability to be energetic during the day, how fast you want to run, whatever it is, whatever metric can you lift your grandkids up, whatever you want to do. And so I think it is a measure. Clearly it is. I'm not denying that it is not a measure, but it is a very blunt tool, and I don't think it is measuring what we need to measure, which is the quality of our food.
What is the key point Yeo makes in this? Calorie availability vary hugely based on the food matrix, how processed it is, how much fiber it contains, whether it's cooked or raw, how your own gut microbiome breaks it down. 200 calories of almond is metabolically completely different from 200 calories of white bread. The quality of food, the quality of nutrients you are recording for your body, I can't say it enough. Your body absorbs them differently. They trigger different hormones. They trigger, of course, different hormones. So they have different effects on your hunger as well. Treating them as equivalent because they have the same numbers of calories is, scientifically speaking, quite wrong.
And it really is a kind of narrative buster that calories are not accurate.
So, look, I speak a lot about calories. I understand that 200 calories of chips is twice the portion of 100 calories of chips. But so is 200 grams of chips twice the portion of 100 grams of chips. And no one is trying to compare 200 grams of chips to 200 grams of carrots. Broadly speaking, that's what it is. The calorie is a very useful tool to give you a general idea how much you are eating during the day. That is true, okay? How much you're eating. But it tells us nothing, zero, about the quality of food you're eating, about how much protein, how much fiber, what type of fat, how much sugar. The calorie tells you absolutely nothing. So it gives you a piece of information, how much food you're eating, and that's, yes, I can see how that could be important. But I would like to see a world we live in where we were more concerned about the quality of food we are feeding ourselves, our kids, other people, than necessarily just the pure caloric content.
So, according to Professor Jill Yeo, he also make a point that deeply relevant to why diet fails. Body weight is not primarily a conscious choice. Your gene influence the choice you make around food, often unconsciously, making some people biologically more prone to eating slightly more over the time than others. Dieting, as if weight were purely a willpower issue, ignore the biological reality of how appetite is regulated. Now let's see the expert number 3, which is the Dr. Marine L'Orphelin. So from a different angle, but reaching a very relevant audience, Dr. Marine L'Orphelin addresses diet myth in the context of what being circulated on TikTok and social media. And she's doing something valuable, meeting people where they actually get their information. So, her key message aligned with the science we've discussed.
Tu viens de le dire déjà, mais déjà, on mange de tout. Tu vois, il n'y a aucun aliment qui est à diaboliser, qui est complètement supprimé. On a le droit de manger de tout. La question, ça va être la quantité. Okay. Donc en fait, tous les régimes restrictifs, on dit on mange pas ci, donc on mange pas de sucre, on mange pas de gras, sont globalement mauvais pour la santé et vont dérégler ton métabolisme, ton corps, qui en fait va manquer d'un truc et qui en fait va être en souffrance et qui va du coup se mettre à stocker parce qu'il manque d'un truc. Tu vois. Et donc tu vas rentrer dans un cercle vicieux où ton corps il va stocker, il va être en stress et donc quand tu remangeras normalement après ton régime, tu vas plus stocker qu'avant et donc probablement tu vas prendre du poids. Est-ce que tu trouves que
Common beliefs about diet are often myths. TikTok health trends are frequently based on pseudoscience or misunderstanding, and the real path to sustainable health comes from understanding your body, not from following a 30-day challenge or 30-day plan from influencer with no medical training or no nutritional foundation, formation, training, etc.
Contrôle total de l'alimentation. De dire, bon, bah, je compte mes calories, après je fais un déficit calorique. Déjà, globalement, si tu ne le fais pas accompagné d'un médecin et d'un diététicien, tu vas faire des erreurs.
Ok.
Soit tu n'arriveras pas à le faire, soit tu vas trop le faire, tu vas être trop restrictive, et là tu vas te mettre en danger, tu vois. Donc je dis pas, il y a des personnes qui sont en surpoids, en obésité, qui souffrent, qui ont des douleurs, qui sont vraiment pas bien dans leur corps, qui ont besoin de perdre du poids, mais là il faut le faire vraiment accompagné, médicalement, ça s'invente pas. Ça va se faire à travers une alimentation ultra équilibrée, sans restriction, avec du plaisir, tu vois, avec le droit de manger certains aliments, même caloriques, tu vois. On va jamais diaboliser aucun aliment, on va juste essayer de rééquilibrer en fonction de la personne, tu vois. Du coup ça va être très individualisé. Et donc je te rejoins sur le fait que déjà, il faut pas calculer ses calories, tu vois. On n'a pas besoin en fait de calculer ses calories. Si on essaie d'être à l'écoute de notre corps nous dit en fait de quoi on a besoin.
So the presence of a credible medical voice, clinical voice professional in social media space matter enormously because the alternative, the unregulated food of diet misinformation is causing real harm, and in particular toward the younger audience.
Well, so what did you think about the scientific information we see from these professionals from healthcare? When you're going through a diet, when you decide to go for a specific goal related to weight loss or even weight gain, you need to be followed professionally by a healthcare professional, which can be a dietitian, a nutritionist, or a workout coach, who also have information, education about nutrition and diet in general. So those scientists have been working on specific topic of dieting, of nutrition, physiology. They know a lot about diet and the effect that it can have on human beings. And it's important to listen to them, to see that actually what we have heard from the media for a long time was not necessarily true. Like, we don't need to follow a specific diet to lose weight. Yes, because there is also an industry behind all of this. Everyone needs to make money, and so yes, they will promote some specific diet for you to lose weight. Yes, the diet can work on a short term. There is a video. The previous part of the video talk about it. Diet can work on the short term, but the goal is not to lose weight just for 1 month or 2 months, just for the summer. The goal is probably for you to lose weight on a long term. And for this, there are different methodology. It's not this thing that you will do for 2 weeks or 1 month and then you stop. No, it's not like that. It's not going to work this way. So yes, I hope you enjoy watching this type of video with valuable information about scientists from scientists about nutrition and diet. I let you. This part of the video is part of the long format video, the sugar dieting, although does weight loss diet actually work. So you have a piece of an answer here. You can watch the full version now if you want to have the full answer on the long format. And I let you with the next part of the video that will be available soon. Feel free to follow the account to be sure that you will have access to the next part of the video as soon as it comes out. But the next part of the video will be about the chronic, the consequences about the chronic diet. Because yes, as you can see, or maybe you have noticed that when you go through a diet, you started maybe the first time you went on diet was probably as a teenager. Maybe you started to notice that, oh, you need to lose weight as a teenager. Yes, and now as an adult, you are still here wanting to lose some kilos. That's not normal. That's not normal unless you've been through a specific clinical situation. That's not normal to realize that you are going through the same thing, to this same cycle on a maybe yearly basis or every 2 or 3 years. You need to lose weight because you have gained weight. That's not normal. Your body has a balance, and you need to be comfortable with this weight balance. But you want to have a specific weight. because you heard or because you saw something online. And yes, that's not necessarily what you should do. But basically, what I want to say is that you will have chronic diet behavior if you start to do it, and this can have consequences. And so, in the next part of the video, we are going to talk about this. So, I'll let you with this other part of the video that will be available soon on the platform. See you next time.